Thank you for joining us. It's the Captain Cannabis Show. It might not be 420 right now, but I promise you it is 420 somewhere. Happy New Year, everyone. It is a brand new show, and you know how we like to kick it off. Let's pop open a new can of Kick-Ass for 2014. There's so much opportunity, amazing stuff going on. On today's show, I have a very special guest. I have Leslie Klein of the Witch's Brew Eatery and Cafe in Palm Harbor, Florida, and she's going to be sharing some delicious and nutritious hemp goodies. Let's get into it. First, I'm going to wet my whistle. Well, everyone knows what's happening in the news. They don't need to rely on me for that information, but I'm going to tell you because I'm very happy and proud. It is definitely a hempy new year in Colorado, and all the fear-mongering by mainstream media fell on deaf ears. Colorado celebrated freedom and liberty in America by allowing its citizens to choose cannabis over a myriad of other recreational substances, including alcohol and all kinds of things that you can buy to put into your system. Now people can choose to use a natural plant in Colorado for their relaxation, enjoyment, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you choose to use cannabis for, however it works for you, awesome. But in Colorado, you can now do it without fear. And more importantly, the state is, Colorado itself is going to benefit from the undying demand of people to consume cannabis because prohibition, federal laws, none of that has kept it from being on the streets. None of that has kept it from being in demand. No alternative drug company solution has ever satiated the demand for a clean, natural, make you feel awesome plant. So, Colorado, I love you. Hats off to you and your citizens, your voters, for fighting hard for legal medical cannabis, legal recreational cannabis, and legal hemp grown here in America. My predictions for 2014 are simple. Colorado will continue to make millions of dollars for their state to do with as they see fit. No longer will that money have to go to Uncle Scam and be redistributed. Those citizens are doing it right. They chose the proper course of action is to allow a plant. Why just ban one plant out of all the 2 million plants on the planet and not make money off it? So they have it. It's legal every which way but loose, and all hell didn't break loose like they predicted. There's no riots in the streets or increase of violence. What in fact did happen is fewer people bought alcohol and more people stayed home and spent quality time with their family. So that was what happened in Colorado. And what's going to be happening here in Florida in 2014 is we're going to have legal medical cannabis on the ballot for Florida citizens to vote and say, yes, I want people with multiple sclerosis to be able to get natural medicine. Yes, I vote to have people with AIDS to be able to have access to natural medicine. Yes, I want people dying of cancer, which is a global epidemic, unreported in the news, to be able to self-medicate with a plant which has been proven in countless studies to destroy cancer, kick cancer's ass. Cannabis cures cancer, and it pisses the power structure off. Guess what? You guys are losing power. You've already long since lost a grip on reality, and no longer will you be able to incarcerate people and profit from that because we're going to have legal medical cannabis in Florida, and no Republican can do anything about it. We win. So I'd like to introduce my special guest, Leslie Klein. She is the owner-proprietor of the Witch's Brew in Palm Harbor, Florida. And Gary, the show host, we do have a folder entitled Witch's Brew with some photos from Leslie's website and Facebook page. But I'd like to introduce Leslie Klein. And the reason why she's on the show is because her facility has been one of these spots where United for Care petitions, these ballot amendment petitions, could be signed and collected. And I worked with Leslie for some promotional events. She's a very respected member of the community and has a strong email list. And she had shared local press release news with the media on several occasions. Herself, people she works with, constituents, myself, we've been on the news representing the true voice of the people for this cause. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Happy
you.
2014 to you, Leslie.
Thank you very much. It's going to be an exciting year.
Very exciting. Now, I understand we were talking on the phone about some of the things that brought you into loosely the movement. Now, what was one of your main reasons for having your business be a facility that would allow people to sign and gather these petitions?
Well, back in, I think, the summer, I went online to unitedforcare.org and saw that they were looking for volunteers. Not only was I interested in signing the petition, I was interested in helping whatever way I could. And since I had a small local business, I figured, make it available to people. Not everyone wants to download the forms and mail them in. Sometimes they want hard copies. Sometimes they just want to, talk to someone about it or ask questions or whatever. So we've always been involved with the community on some level. When the oil spill happened, I did a series of educational things for regarding the oil spill. And this is a hot topic. And not only that, I've always been into natural medicines, herbs, essential oils, and cannabis is just one of those herbs, those
it's just
plants
a plant.
that has been, as we
a
spoke,
pretty amazing plant.
Over 5,000 years ago, the Chinese had it in their pharmacopoeia.
Yeah.
And you were telling me the other day that it was in the pyramids. There's documentation that cannabis and that plant has been around forever. The cannabinoid system in our bodies, we
that is something we all take for granted.
And there's so much medicine and research that hasn't been able to happen.
All suppressed.
Because, it's been illegal. And it's just that. I feel that, this is America.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to have rights, and right to a plant that we can grow that has been part of our heritage, our history.
Yeah.
I think it's about claiming that, no more, like you said, about self-empowerment and taking our power back and not giving in to the corporations and the media.
I don't think anyone in government knows any better than me about anything, quite frankly. I don't care how long they've gone to school. I can simply make that statement how anyone would make that statement about an employee, and they are employees for the people, and based on their employee track record, so many of them should be fired. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that those people who don't have to follow their own rules, laws, and regulations are the right people to be in charge, because that's not Republican or Democrat, where the people who write the laws, enforce the laws, don't have to follow the laws. That is, in fact, not a constitutional republic. It is something else, very scary indeed. I remember going to your facility. Now, what she has is the Witch's Brew. And where I first met you was many years ago. I believe it was 6 years ago or 7 years ago. Was that your first or second witch stock?
Okay.
And I attended that event, and I remember the experience you have at this facility is what's missing and disappearing in America. It's very important to support local business. You can go into any Starbucks and get a high-quality $7 drink. You sure can. You can buy CDs and mugs and some airplane food. But less and less in my trips to Starbucks am I seeing any real community, any real sense of things going on, any real conversations. And that's one thing that really delighted me about your facility is people, real people with ideas having real conversations. And every time I've gone to your spot, whether it's to get a beer or get a coffee or bring the kids because it's kid-friendly and dog-friendly, or go see a show or go play drums or go listen to a speech, it doesn't matter. You have so much fun going on for so many people in the community of Palm Harbor. So if you're in the area of Pinellas County, Florida, her establishment is in Palm Harbor, and it's a delight. I went to several of the witch stocks. This last year, most recently, she invited me to. One of the other things inspired me about you is I have this phrase, it's weedism, and that's where you stereotype people on weed. This type of thing happens societally, racism, sexism, whatever. There's also like a darkism or a witchism, and anyone who's into anything alternative, they're stereocast. And what I'd like to state about witches upon my research is usually you only hear about Salem witch trials. Well, what was really going on in those communities is you had a woman who was harvesting herbs, naturally shamanically healing her village, who was the reverend mother respected by all. And because she was protecting her clan and her village and her territory against outside forces and invaders, she was labeled a heretic or a witch and burnt at the stake because she wouldn't succumb to their religious pressures. So I think it's an honor to be a witch or a warlock or anyone who defies imperialism and bootlicking.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. Thank you so much for having me. Again, folks tuning in, sorry for the technical difficulties. I tweaked the video. I'm not sure what I did at this point in time with the live raw footage. But where we had left off with our special guest, Leslie Klein of Witches Brew in Palm Harbor, were some of the other motivations for you to have your business be one of... we got to be real here. This thing, United for Care, worked with regional care coordinators, volunteers, and petitioners, and literally close to 1 million signatures were given on paper to the ballot petition, and there was many local businesses all across Florida who said, "Hey, I'll let people come talk about the topic and have a conversation about the topic at my facility." And that's what Leslie had done. And can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Just that, where should I start? Well, I told you earlier that I contacted United for Care, and I wanted to volunteer, and I just used the resources that I had, which is my store, and we were able to get people to come out and sign the petition. Bay News 9 stopped by yesterday, which was kind of cool, and did an interview.
Oh, where can people check that out?
Well, you can go to the Witches Brew Facebook page, and you could like us there, and I did post it on there. It's actually, I couldn't, if you go to Bay News 9, you'll see the printed article, but if you wanted to see the video, you can go to the Witches Brew page, and we'll probably link it to
Awesome.
put it on your Captain Cannabis Facebook page as well.
Were you on the news segment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, 3
definitely
times.
got to check that out.
3 times.
That's great.
Yeah. It was fun.
I had worked with Leslie, and she said, "Hey, there's some people here you might want to come meet." And I went and spoke for about 45 minutes with an independent videographer. And I learned something interesting about the news, how it works, is you have a lot of independent contractors who grab video media, or you can submit your own as an independent journalist, and they'll just kind of, pluck out little tidbits. I have to thank you for getting me on the news at the facility, but what Fox had stated in their segment, I don't know if it was a outright lie, falsified info, but about 2 weeks ago, Fox had stated that United for Care and the people of Florida had only gathered about 200,000 petitions,
Right.
and that was not true. My understanding for the final count is closer to 1 million. Working with you, I know we got several hundred that night. And how many do you estimate that the people you worked with gathered at your facility?
I'd say over the last few months, I would say probably over 500 from people
Wow.
even just coming and turning them in, because there were people out there that just started collecting them or wanted copies, blank petitions to take out to their friends and get them signed and then bring them back in. So we got several hundred.
That's awesome.
And
We everywhere I went, this past 8 months, 7 months, had copies of the petition, made them available to friends, family. Talk Loud Studios had them available here. We did live signings on the air with people. It was very exciting. Now, one of the other things that Leslie was inspired regarding hemp, if I'm understanding correctly, is the health benefits. And
Right.
you had turned me on to some local experts. I learned of other people who produce shows about health and natural stuff. I've been a big health hemp advocate, and what you brought on to the show to share is we have hemp seed cookies and brownies. Is that correct?
yes, you've inspired me to change my menu, add some hemp seed product, which I found out was actually it's a superfood. It is a complete protein, and it has 21 of the all the amino acids that we need. And we added it just like you would like walnuts or nuts to a cookie mix, to our chocolate chip cookie and our brownies. And then also came up with a couple of potions. Our smoothies are called potions. And we have a peace and love potion that has sunflower sprouts and hemp seed, the raw hemp seed. I don't know if you can get a close-up of the products we have here. but I actually brought some hemp seed.
Oh yeah, they got those on camera. Those
right
are
here.
beautiful.
So that's the raw shelled hemp seed, and then
those are delicious. I can just eat them right out of the bag.
And we make the Peace and Love Potion with that. And then on the other side, we've got the Manitoba Farms Hemp Seed Pro protein powder, which you've inspired me, and I've created a new potion called the Captain Cannabis Chronic Potion, and that's chronic with Kronic.
It's awesome. It's delicious and nutritious. Tasted great. A lot of energy. I understand you also have sprouted sunflower seeds in there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great smoothie product. I think it's cool how you're calling it a potion, like a witch's potion, because, again, the true history of witches is, hey, this was like the female version of the shaman in the small colonial village of America.
Well, this is before the church took over and everything became a patriarchy. It's when there was a matriarchy and women were more revered, and they were the healers.
Yeah.
And kind of coming full circle. And they were healing with natural herbs, natural plants, natural herbs, and cannabis, I'm sure, was one of them as well.
Awesome.
So it's just about using what nature has given us.
Makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to being a venue for live local talent, and if you're a musician or performer, inquire with Leslie at the Witch's Brew, because many nights a week they have, raw, live, unplugged, real talent. Not just the same stuff you hear on the radio all the time.
On Friday nights is our open mic night from 8 to 11. And we just set up the PA system, and we've got people that are poets, that are comedians, that are singer-songwriters, musicians from all ages. I mean, I've had a 7-year-old, no, is she 7, maybe 5? I think she was 7-year-old comedian, all the way to, musicians that are in their 60s, 70s. So it's a nice range. Kind of everybody shows up for that. And Wednesdays, we've got Bonnie Bowers, which I'm hoping that you'll be able to get her as a guest.
Yes.
She's a singer-songwriter as well. She plays on Wednesdays from 12 to 4 inside. Thursday nights, we have a drum circle, and that goes from 7 to 10 every night. We've got 40 to 50 people that come.
That's awesome.
Religiously.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
I wanted to say
to
something
drum.
about that. Folks, if you've never done a drum circle, just get the negative stigma about the whole hippie thing out of your head. Churches across America, youth groups, schools, you'd be surprised at the variety of organizations taking advantage of the healing, natural, and fun energy that only a drum circle provides. For my record label called Technorganic, my big inspiration was going to a Dead show and hearing Mickey Hart combine the electric with the organic drums and just make raw, live, free-form music. It was just awesome, mind-blowing experience. Mm-hmm. You can't capture that type of energy anywhere else. Nothing speaks to mankind or resonates in a universal language of music like the drum. So if you want to check out probably the preeminent drum circle in Pinellas County, what day is that?
Thursday nights from 7 to 10.
See you there.
And if you don't have a
times.
drum, we have extra drums people can use, and belly dancers come out too. All kinds of dancers come out, and we also have people that do the poi. They were doing the fireballs, but our situation is not the best for live fires. So I've got some people that will do the LED poi, which is the spinning balls, and that's really cool too.
Very fun. Good
on
times.
Saturday nights is when we have our live music from 8 to 11 every Saturday too. So those are the regular events that happen at the store.
What else is in your shared facility? She has is it a 2-story?
Well, it's actually 3-story. There is an attic. It's a historical building. It's one of the 9 contributing historical structures that make up the downtown Palm Harbor Historic District. And next door to me is Celestial Circle. They've been in business for about 2.5 years. They're a metaphysical store. Gina Lawrence, she just got engaged, so I do have to congratulate Matt and Gina for their engagement. He just proposed to her in the store last night.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Great folks, great material. If you're not hip to the metaphysical movement, if you're scared, if you're feeling overwhelmed, right next door in the same house facility as the Witch's Brew, Go check out the store. Ask these people questions. They really know what they're talking about. They can get you started with some easy-to-digest books and turn you on to events that are hosted at the Witch's Brew to learn more. But to me, the whole metaphysical movement, it's about self-discovery without the stigma or dogma of religion. It's about self-empowerment, breaking free of your own fear, anxiety, and chains, discovering that you are a beautiful being, a spiritual being on this planet. Nothing happens by chance. Everything happens by the decisions you make. Come down, enjoy some great healthy hemp products. You guys have a diverse menu, microbrews, wine. I really loved the candy corn Jell-O shots, orange, yellow, with the dab of whipped cream on top at Witch's Brew.
Yeah, that was a special thing that came out for Halloween. I might still have some. Well, I'll make them, special on special occasions.
Might have to put those on the VIP list. You buy 3 Captain Cannabis Chronic potions, and you get a free candy corn shot. Those were great. Local talent, people getting together, talking about cool things, doing cool things. That's what the Witch's Brew is all about.
And actually, for 2014, I haven't worked out the details yet, but my plan is to actually have a series, since this year is going to be pretty important regarding cannabis and the ballot, and it still has to pass. Just because the petitions are in doesn't mean that it's passed and legalized for medical marijuana. So thinking about doing a series of educational programs at the store where maybe we play the documentaries like Should Grandma Smoke Pot, or the weeds that Sanjay Gupta did, or the Rick Simpson. Actually, I'm picking your brain for the materials that are out there.
Those are 3 great ideas.
Well, they came from you. You told me about them.
Well, you turned me on to one last night, and it took me a while. It was very lengthy, but very well done, very professional. If you'd like to mention that to the people, cannabis hemp issues aside, that's not mentioned once in this entire 2+ hour event. But if you're someone who's scratching your head wondering, why are things so messed up worldwide? Why is there so much war? Why is there so much hunger? What can I do to change it? First of all, you have to figure out why things are the way they are. And Leslie had turned me on to a video. The website is the Thrive Movement. And if you could brief the people on that, it was great.
ThriveMovement.com. And it's Procter Gamble, right? Foster Gamble.
Yeah.
It's of the Gamble family. Him and his wife did this,
phenomenal documentary about just the power structure. I mean, it blows your mind. It's something you just have to watch, and you got to watch it again several times.
Because it's all encompassing. It includes everything from the medical field to the educational, industry, to oil and the auto industry, and how all these corporations are all in cahoots with each other. And although they don't tie into why cannabis was made illegal back in the 30s, it's still the same thing with
few
the
people
corporations.
do that. That's what I do. What I do is people are looking for answers and solutions to problems. And that's what I try to do with the show, is show the history, how cannabis was used historically and how it could be used again, if not in a prohibitive, illegal state. So if it is in this state, why? So we disclose the truth as to who conspired to make a plant illegal. And then we touch on how hemp and cannabis were used historically throughout all of mankind, throughout all of history and all across the planet. And then what opportunities, financial, spiritual, healing, otherwise, are we missing out by not having hemp and cannabis used? And a lot of those are coming to light. It wasn't mentioned in that video, but the kind of stuff I talk about is deeper, darker. I mean, there's a lot of collusion. I mean, we're talking about 2.5 million people in jail since they started the drug war, the longest lasting war with more victims and more broken families than any other war in history. It dwarfs what happened with other wars. And even though fewer bullets have been fired, the catastrophe is felt right here at home, where it really hits home, is you have a prison industrial complex, and the largest majority of the prisoners are in there because of choosing to use a natural plant that was used by our founding fathers to create freedom and liberty. So if there is such thing as a corporatocracy and you're curious about that, start with the Alex Jones Show. Start by checking out Ron Paul and Rand Paul. Start by checking out Coast to Coast AM Radio. Go to talkwatstudios.com. Check out the political shows. Check out the health shows. You're going to hear the truth through independent radio, because a gigantic corporation with an agenda doesn't own me, doesn't own us, and doesn't control the voice of the people. So check out Thrive Movement, as Leslie recommended. And those videos, we're going to show those and more. I have one I've been working on with your help, where we did the slide presentation and then the Q&A. We're packaging that. We only have a few minutes left for the show. So if you have any closing statements you'd like to share with the people.
Well, just really thank you for having this show and getting the word out and enabling people to be part of a conversation. When I do this series of educational programs at the store, I want to have experts like yourself and other people that can open us up to the true information, present like a video documentary, and then have some Q&A with people so we can start discussing this. You know, it's out of the closet. It's coming out of the closet. And it's time for us to
be adults and have adult conversations
and get over this weedism.
Yeah.
You know, because there is such a stigma, you know, over a plant.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Over a natural plant. And it's just time for us to change things.
Agreed. Beautiful.
So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for all your help working with United for Care, gathering petitions, and most importantly, just thanks for putting the Witch's Brew out there. A great place and a great community. There's food, there's entertainment, and there's goodies like this.
Yeah,
you're just not going to get any. Yeah, I know. It's like,
you're hungry. I just baked those this afternoon, too.
They smell delicious. They're very nutritious. Stop by the Witch's Brew, mention the Captain Cannabis Show, and enjoy brownies with hemp seed, chocolate chip cookies with hemp seed, and 2 potions. And what we mean by potion is a smoothie with great all-natural healing ingredients, delicious and nutritious meal replacement. We don't have drinks to toast over. Can we toast over a cookie? Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being on the show, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Delicious.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to set that bad boy down because we got to end the show with 2 cool, funny things, folks. I wanted to briefly play what I believe is the funny generic theme song for 2014 in the state of Florida. And if you could cue up the Barry Manilow video, looks like we made it. Leslie, is it correct in stating that we can't officially state the numbers? We're not in the federal government. We're not in the state government. We're not employees or members of United for Care. We're just active participants in gathering the petitions. But my understanding, state, if your understanding is different.
They have turned in almost 900, just under 900,000 petitions.
Almost 900,000 petitions. Almost 1 million Floridians saying, I want legal medical cannabis for people suffering from serious conditions, not stubbed toes, real serious conditions. Don't believe Pam Biondi and the hype mongers who are fueled by DuPont, which makes money off of global drug test kits. Every NATO nation, every single NATO nation, every government employee of every NATO nation, their employees have to be tested for cannabis. Guess where the money goes? To DuPont, who owns the patents for piss tests. Guess who the largest financial contributor to keeping cannabis illegal? DuPont Corporation, keeping it illegal. Thank you. I'm going to get into the cookie. Please roll the Barry Manilow video. So run that. Let's have some fun with that. But yes, Florida, legal medical cannabis 2014. Vote yes. Clean up this stupid government healthcare mess. Real medicine that cures cancer. Boom.
Looking just the same as you did last time I touched you. Here I am, close to getting tangled up inside the thought of you. Do you love him as much much as I love her? And will that love be strong when old feelings start to stir? Looks like we made it. We left each other on the way to another love. Looks like we made it.